How's it going, everyone? My name is Jake and welcome to this week's video. To start this video off, I first just want to apologize for not having a video out for May. It's just, with the event, I figured it was better to put a lot of my energy towards that instead of having to worry about pumping out a video for this month. But there will be a video this month when you're watching, and plus, hopefully, if I can get this stuff, there'll be another one this month to make up for it. And I just have a lot of ideas and videos planned out, so hopefully you guys will see those very, very soon. But Foam and Fortune, I first have to thank a few people. First, I have to thank our private first class, Lorenzo, for coming and doing all the help he could. It was honestly a really just amazing time getting to play with him and getting to meet him for the first time. We've been excited about this for months, and it was just great getting to finally meet this guy. He gives big uncle energy, which I don't know if you guys will understand, but he's just a really great guy, and it was amazing to finally meet him, and I greatly appreciate all his help. Our other member, Lord Richard, he was not able to make it, but he was there with us in spirit, of course, and along the way he gave us a lot of advice and his input, which we also really appreciated. And then, of course, Bianca, my girlfriend, our major, was there. Had a great time with her, and just being there as well, my girlfriend being there for what ended up being a very special moment was just so amazing. And I also have to give a thanks, lastly but not least, to Bots and Blasters. At Foam and Fortune, I met a local subscriber, someone local to my area named James, who, if he did not hear it from bots, otherwise would not have heard about it at all. And while this was my first time being at an event, not just running an event, but just being at one, it was also James's first time being at an event, so I got to share that with him. And it's because of Bots that this happened, because Bots was kind enough to put me out there and shout me out as much as he did, like almost every Monday for a good month or so, just saying, hey, my buddy Jake is doing this event locally, if you're in the area or if you can make it, come down. Just that little bit, that little like 2 minutes of saying, hey, check this guy out, it was great. It was amazing that I got to meet a subscriber because of him, and I have to give a thanks to you, because without you, honestly, I wouldn't have got the chance to meet him, and I appreciate it. I really do. But now, what actually happened at Foam and Fortune? Well, we started late. Now, Lorenzo took a lot of pressure off me. He mentioned that no event he's ever been to was actually started on time. Our start time was supposed to be 11, but we got there at 12, and we didn't actually officially start until around 1, which is not a problem because we did also end up staying an extra hour. So it was, instead of 11 to 5, it was 1 to 6. Throughout the entire event, we managed to play through 4 different games. We started off with our version of Clickers that we call Brain Drain. We did 2 rounds of Awfuls, and we finished with Launch the Rocket, which did not go as planned, but we'll talk about that in a second. So Brain Drain Clickers was fun, but I think the 2 most fun games, in my opinion, were those 2 rounds of Awfuls, because the way Awfuls works is it's basically a stock-only round, and we weren't supposed to allow it, but I modified the rules slightly since there was only a few of us, and honestly, as long as it hits under 100 FPS, then I can consider it stock and it doesn't hit too hard. It's okay. Now in Awfuls, I wanted to run a deploy with only 6-round mags, and I know the joke is that the deploy is a really bad blaster. I, for one, really enjoy it. I don't think the performance is awful. It's definitely the best. It's an N-Strike blaster, but 2 minutes into the first round, the deploy jammed on me, and it was a really bad jam. I couldn't even clear it there in the field. The dart was impaled by the pusher. I didn't even know that was possible. I don't know how it happened, but it jammed. So needless to say, I wasn't going to be using that anymore, but luckily Lorenzo, who was on my team, had a Cyclone Shock as a secondary that he handed to me, and for the rest of the round and the next round after that, I don't want to brag, but I was pretty cracked with it. I think I had a great shot with it. It was just so fun, the pop of it. It's a great, great blaster. And the Cyclone Shock in question is actually the modded one that he gave me, I don't know if it's months ago now or a year ago, but it's the one that he gave me. I was letting him use it, and I was letting him use our Double Punch, which definitely won him over. He needs Double Punch, and if I could, I'd buy him one myself, but I can't. So hopefully he can find himself one for cheap. My deploy jamming on me wasn't the only catastrophe we had in the field. There was also a moment where the Big L Special Strife, the Lorenzo built for my girlfriend, the battery just crapped out, and in the middle of a gunfight between me and her blaster just stopped working, and I tagged her, and she did call the tag, but the blaster malfunctioned, and so we had to stop the game, call the hold, and we found out that it was the battery that did it. We thought maybe it was a switch, or the mags weren't feeding properly, which a couple of them weren't. but it was the battery itself. It wouldn't even light up a LiPo alarm. The Big L Special is going to be out of commission for a while, and it's actually going to be sent to Lorenzo for servicing as soon as I can find a box that it'll slide right into. We also had to call hold quite a few times because our biggest enemy of the day was the wind. It was a very windy day. This spring has been the windiest spring that I think I've ever experienced. It's bad, and we were also in a very high up place near the mountains, so wind was going to be even worse. So I brought along some pop-up tents. I built our own cover, as you probably saw on Instagram. So for those of you who don't know, I'm literally 10 days away from my Nerf event, Foam and Fortune, and I've been building some cover with my girlfriend Bianca. I just finished putting grommets in these tarps. I'm cleaning up my mess right now and I'm putting everything away. I also have the PVC I cut over here. These are the legs for the cover frames, and each one needs a couple of PVC tees and PVC elbows. Now, as you can see, this is a 20 pack. And this is a 35 pack. Now I just want to say real quick, whoever idea it was to make these uneven numbers, your mom eats corn the long way. And every few minutes we had to call a hold so we can reset the tent or reset the cover, and it was just really annoying. Now it's probably my fault because I followed Backyard Foam's guide, but I made the legs maybe just a little bit too tall, so I gotta trim those down whenever I get the time. Overall, we had a ton of fun, and that's really what matters. We didn't have a huge turnout, but it's not how many people show up, it's how much foam you fling, and a lot of foam was flown. But now some of the more important stuff, what was learned? Well, the first and the painfully most obvious thing is that events are expensive. I never took the time to add up just how much everything costs, building the barricades, game materials, spare ammo, the free lunch that I wanted to provide, and the entire event being free as well. There was, of course, no profit, aside from whatever ammo was donated that day. I don't want to profit from this hobby, but to run the event that we wanted, we needed to spend a lot of money, and next time I'd like to make at least some of that back. The best way to describe it is that we were both underprepared and overprepared. And the best example I have of that is that free lunch. Now, for the free lunch that we provided, we went to a local pizza place, Sam's Pizza. You can check them out here. This is their address. And it was really good. We ordered 3 extra large pizzas, and because we had bought those 3 pizzas, the owner decided to throw in a free large one. And it was eaten, but we were left with 2 whole extra pies. At our house, we basically ate pizza for dinner like 2 days in a row. But we had bought so much because we wanted to be prepared for how many people might show up. And it wasn't just the pizza, we also decided to get sports drinks, and then we also got snacks, and then there was ice that had to go in the cooler to keep everything cold throughout the event. So it added up very quick, just that lunch, which a lot of it ended up not getting eaten on that day. So needless to say, we probably don't need to provide as much next time around. And I don't know if this was really learned because I already knew it, but seeing it in action definitely changed my point of view a little bit. And that's that some game modes just don't work with not enough people. On top of that, not every game mode is gonna work right away. The last game we played, Launch the Rocket, was a 2v2 because Bianca had to sit out, and James's little girl decided not to play because she was scared of the high FPS, which is entirely valid. It's 150 FPS, and she was a 9-year-old little girl. We were not going to let that happen. And Launch the Rocket is one of the more complicated game modes, so seeing in the field just how much it didn't work with only 2 people was very eye-opening. So that's going to take a few events to finally get down just right and have enough people to actually play it. But now is the part where we get to be hopeful and look for the future. What is next? Next, obviously, is Foam and Fortune 2. But when? Well, right now the working idea is sometime early September. We also know for sure that Foam and Fortune 2 will be at the same location at Manzanita Heights, but we will probably require some form of payment to enter. We haven't decided on an amount yet, but we are also going to require an ammo donation. And above all else, just keep playing in foam. That's what these events and that's what this hobby ultimately is just all about, is the blasters, the toys that us for some reason decided to collect and play with as adults. It's weird, it's goofy, but it's fun. So we're gonna keep having fun and keep playing in foam. So with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to see more content like this, because doing so does encourage me to do more content. And a new way to support the Fun Battalion is by joining us on Ko-fi, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I say it different every time. For as little as $3 a month if you want to become a member, or a one-time donation of course is also appreciated. And if you do want to become a member and become a Tactical Capybara, you get videos 2 to 3 days early, access to bloopers, you get your name in the credits of every video, and one random Tactical Capybara will get a shout out at the end of every video. And of course, supporting us on Ko-fi is not mandatory, it's only optional. If you have a few bucks to throw away, we highly appreciate it. Honestly, just viewing the video, leaving a like, leaving a comment, all of that is just perfect enough. I love the comments, and I appreciate every single one of you for coming into this video, and I hope to see you again next time.